Well, today I started working on tuning up my bandsaw. I started getting into it, and I really liked how everything had a lot of nice flexibility in it to get all the fine-tuning adjustments made. With the armature that holds the upper blade guides, there's a lot of adjustability in this system to get it just right. These sets of set screws and bolts are what hold the whole assembly together inside the housing. It's a nice solid welded frame, and you can adjust these set screws to help adjust how the blade tracks this way. And then these set screws these bolts allow you to adjust exactly how the arm moves up and down in its carriage. So you can get the carriage to move up and down perfectly in that blade plane off of the two wheels. And so that's really, really good. These ceramic blade guides are very superb. They do produce, I think, a little bit more noise than the bearing guides that I've worked with before, but you can set them up so that there's less than a dollar bill, distance between them, and that really keeps that blade. Well, I've got the tensioner off, but that really keeps the blade in the plane that it needs to be in when it's cutting. The one thing that I was a little bit disappointed with in this purchase was the table. I don't know if you can see the gap underneath that straight edge, but there is probably a 1/64 of an inch gap beneath there, and that's not terrible. But you would really expect that for paying this much for a machine, that it would be machined dead flat. The other thing that I had a problem with initially was when I would move this across, and even still you can see it catches just slightly on there. It was a lot worse than this. It would move and stop dead. There was nothing that I could really do about that. But I did try and fix this a little bit. I noticed that a lot of the flex was due to exactly how this closed nut that's supposed to keep the leaves in the right position, flat, was actually raising this side up and lowering this side when it was tight. So what I did was took my Dremel and I just removed the slightest amount of material, carefully on that side, and then on this side underneath I removed material as well, so that when I put this pin back in, it actually helps correct the problem. It helps by lowering this side and raising this side a little bit, and now it still catches just barely, but I can seem to be able to adjust that by where exactly I position this nut in there. Of course I did those adjustments by hand, and so it kind of makes a difference on how tight I may put that, but now you can see it's just right in the right spot. Now this edge is a lot better than it was before now. It had a big crown where this slot was cut, but it's now fairly flat for the most part. And the other thing is that this half of the machine seemed to be, after this cut, it seemed to be torqued, up like this, so that the worst part of the ridge was over here. So what I did is, I moved it down a little bit, and now there's a drop on this side of the table, on the farthest end out from the edge, which is actually a whole lot better than having a rise on any part of this, because now the material will flow over it and it won't get caught. The other thing that I did to try and help the situation a bit was take a file and put a chamfer edge on this, so that if it does hit, it has an angle and pushes itself back up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is a fairly common issue with almost any bandsaw table that you get. Bandsaw tables are cast, and so as they cool, they've got a lot of differential stresses in them. So they probably get it right out of the casting and then machine the top of it and the sides, and then send it for grinding. And then probably the last thing that they do is cut this slot in there. And when they cut that out, it really frees a lot of the material to do what its natural stress tendencies are, and it kind of warps a little bit. So overall, it's not bad. I'm not going to have any hang-ups. The majority of the cutting that you do with the system, with that Driftmaster fence, is position the work on this half of the table and let your spoil come off this side of the blade. So, really the most important part, is this surface, and that's pretty good for this table. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with that. I don't know if it's a quality control issue or what have you, but I was in there working on it for an hour. I was trying to get clamps on there and press down on this side and kind of bend this down enough, and maybe bend this up so that that wouldn't happen. I finally couldn't get it and had to resort to taking material off this side and this side to kind of level things out when this pin is in tight. So anyway, that's pretty much the only detractor that I've had from this saw so far. But other than that, it's going to be a great tool. So thanks. Bye.